Alright, how's everyone doing? The chapter I am presenting is obviously chapter 20, an Afrocentric perspective on policing. For the introduction, the Afrocentric perspectives on history of policing in the United States differs from the perspectives held by people who are not of African descent. This article, Chapter 20, also presents the Afrocentric perspective on three policing phenomena that adversely impact black communities, which are the status quo. Police scholars deny the existence of racism and misquoted policing history. The use of race by some police officers is a factor in deciding whether or not to use deadly force, and the call to attention how black people are often excluded from the decision-making process regarding policing in their communities. The hidden history. Scholars do not address the fact that early policing was a purpose for maintaining slavery, and with the abolition of slavery, the police establishment embarked on a new style of class control that included enforcing segregation. Furthermore, this Eurocentric perspective places emphasis on the police reform movement and disregards the fact that the movement was a pivotal point of increased intolerance. And today, the Eurocentric heroes of policing, such as August Vollmer and William Parker, are said to be motivated to protect the good of all the people, but they were just upper-class men protecting the interests of upper-class citizens. To continue, the reform era policing provided the stage for race-based, violent, brutal behavior by police officers. This also gave way to the most serious riots that the United States has ever experienced. In the Eurocentric literature, such as The Broken Windows and Serve to Protect, suggests that policing of yesteryear was wonderful and beneficial, that the United States should restore the old reform model. Next author talks about the contributions of black police officers. Usually they have been underreported. This also includes the accomplishments of executives. For example, Lee Brown was instrumental in bringing community policing to New York City, and the fact that accomplishments of black executives are reported primarily in Afrocentric publications called attention to denial and bigotry in academia. Regarding police brutality, many of the 21st century police scholars bristle at the notion that police brutality is a widespread problem. They also discourage attention, especially from policymakers, on police brutality. They assert that police brutality happens because of the rotten apple theory, and they believe that collecting data on police brutality is rare and discounts self-reports from victims and other non-police sources. They also feel that these officers are acting in good faith, and it shouldn't be the training that is to blame. It should be the pre-employment screening. Regarding the race use of deadly force, officers can manifest their racial hatred with physical violence. This includes marginalizing the victim because of race. The Eurocentric perspective concludes that race is never the factor, and it also, conversely, the Afrocentric perspective is that many individuals who have race-based fear and animus are hired as police officers. Alright, in regards to shootings and the lowered threshold, the evidence supports the conclusion that shoot first, ask questions later policy is apparent in the police subculture. The Afrocentric perspective says that some police officers dispense with the use of deadly force protocol via not shooting a command or shouting commands contemporaneously with firing their weapons. The evidence also shows that many police officers only use the minimum criteria allowed for the use of deadly force, and officers learn very early that they will be exonerated if they state that they feared for their lives. Alright, continued. The issue regarding shooting the black people were not involved in criminal activity and did not initiate contact with the police. According to the author in chapter 20, there seems to be an unwritten law that black victims of police brutality should know the protocol for interacting with police. The Afrocentric perspective that a person of color who does not know the protocol can expect to be harmed or even killed. In regards to the investigations of police, investigation to the use of deadly force never explore for race-based phenomenon. Typically, the investigations involve forensic analysis and the state of mind of the officer at the time that at the time is almost never questioned. From an Afrocentric perspective, consideration must be given to the role police subculture plays in the use of deadly force situation. It also said that the understanding of police subculture and literature can offer a great deal of insight as to what happened on the scene. There's also a long line of people who have been shot by officers they think they can get away with. Because these prosecutors know little about the premeditation for police brutality that the police subculture provides, they are not aware of the need to be suspicious. The lack of concern expressed by whites about illegal and brutal policing in black communities has meant that the burden of raising awareness has been undertaken by people of color. This includes racial profiling. Furthermore, scholars of color are often excluded by their colleagues concerning police tragedies involving black victims, and many white scholars, as well as publishing, deserve some criticism because they do not take responsibility for taking media attention to the lack of racial disparity and the line of work is written by black people. Alright, there's my references. Thank you for listening to my presentation.